confined spaces. Women are compelled to use public transport for daily commute. But should they remain infested with sexual predators? No lessons learned from previous instances, despite tall promises made by literally every political party on women's security. And we bring this up today because this is what happened in the national capital. A young woman allegedly sexually harassed at the Johor Bagh metro station in Delhi. The woman took to Twitter to share her ordeal, where she claimed that she did not get any help from the security personnel present at the station. In fact, in a series of tweets, and we'll play out through our quote plates on what she said in those tweets, the woman is saying that she was traveling on the yellow line of the Delhi metro when a co-passenger approached her and asked her for help with an address. The woman added that she got off at the metro station, and while she was trying to book a cab from the platform, the same man approached her again. And what she's saying on her post is playing out on your screens. The same man approached her again and flashed his genitals at her. He probably thought he could get away with this. This will not be reported. He's probably a repeat offender. But then this incident was reported. Did the woman get any instant help? The answer is no. The incident, of course, has raised many questions on the safety of women in the national capital. The harsh reality is that women face perverts in their daily commute, and that is simply not acceptable. Sexual offenders, like it happened in this case as well, often get away. Remember, the offender in this case is still at large. There is laxity in acting promptly when a woman goes with a complaint. Even though the complainant in this case made every effort to report the crime, she says that she was not taken seriously. The culprit managed to escape. Now, of course, Delhi Metro has issued a statement saying they have zero tolerance for such cases. Let me first go across okay, I am told my colleague is not with us live. Let me first just, Ila is there with us live. Yes, Ila will tell us what the DMRC says in its defense. Ila is joining me from Delhi. In fact, she was in the metro when we tried to contact her. Ila, first of all, tell us what has DMRC said. This is a very serious case of how a woman had to face sexual harassment in a metro station like Johor Bagh in the heart of the national capital.
Yes, Afrida, this is really a shocking incident which has come to light. And Delhi Metro has condemned this incident. Delhi Metro has said they have strict rules against sexual harassment, and they have said that they have all CCTV cameras in their all premises. As well, there is an emergency alarm too, which commuter can press if they are in need. So they have said that they have had a helpline number on which any person could communicate. But despite all the security measures, despite all the CRPF persons who are deployed here and all the security, this man harassed a girl in a broad daylight in Delhi's Johor Bagh metro station. It was around 2:30 to 2:40 p.m. in day, and my man managed to come out of the metro, followed the girl, and in excuse of taking help of her, abused this girl, and it was happening all in daylight in Delhi's heart. Now, this definitely raises questions. The DMRC has clarified that they have given all the CCTV footage to Delhi police, and Delhi police is also inquiring in this matter, and they have also registered a case in this matter and trying to identify the culprit. The apart from DMRC and Delhi police, DCW has also issued a notice to both of
thanks
these
very much for your
organizations.
update. In fact, like you mentioned, and I'm just going to say that about the kind of response that has come in. First is, of course, the DMRC, then the DCW chief, Swati Maliwal, of course, has taken cognizance and issued a notice to Delhi police urging for strict action to be taken against the offender. But the question remains, why is public transport still unsafe for women? Joining me on the program this evening, Nirmal Kaur, former DGP of Jharkhand, Ranjana Kumari, women's rights activist and director at the CSR, also a gender policy expert, Shamina Shafiq, who is a former member of the National Commission for Women. Very good evening. Thanks so much, and glad to have an all-women panel here on my program. Before I go across to the ladies, let's listen into what the people have to say. And this is what the citizens say after hearing about this incident.
ये मामला हमारे नोटिस में देर रात को आया था। एक यंग लड़की हैं, उन्होंने ट्वीट किया था कि उनके साथ सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट हुआ है मेट्रो स्टेशन के ऊपर। जब ये हमारे संज्ञान में आया तो हमने इसको फॉरवर्ड किया कंसर्न एजेंसी, हमारे जो मेट्रो पुलिस हैं उनको। तो वहाँ के डीसीपी है, जब उनके नोटिस में आया तो उन्होंने वी आवर्स में अपनी हमने इस कंप्लेनेंट को जिन्होंने ट्वीट किया था उनसे हमने ट्विटर के माध्यम से ही उनसे डिटेल्स लिए कि उनको हम कैसे कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं। तो शी रिप्लाइड, तो हमारे पास उनका कांटेक्ट नंबर आया। देयर आफ्टर हमारे जो मेट्रो के पुलिस अधिकारी हैं उन्होंने उनसे संपर्क किया और एज वाज कन्वीनियंट टू द कंप्लेनेंट उनके घर जाके उनकी वी आवर्स में अर्ली मॉर्निंग में उनकी कंप्लेंट ली गई और उसके बाद सीसीटीवी वगैरह का फुटेज लिया गया और उसके ऊपर मुनासिब कार्यवाही की जा रही है।
बहुत हाई लेवल की रेटिंग करूंगी, 10 आउट ऑफ तो 9 कर ही दूंगी, बिकॉज बहुत इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ है पहले के कंपैरिजन में। अभी बस वगैरह में आप देख सकते हो कि स्पेशल एक पुलिस गार्ड रखा जा रहा है सेफ्टी के लिए, स्पेशली गर्ल सेफ्टी के लिए, तो पहले से तो बहुत बेटर है।
ऑफ कोर्स पहले से बेटर हुआ है बिकॉज नाउ विमेन आर अवेयर ऑफ देयर पार्ट्स। पहले अवेयरनेस नहीं थी, अब थोड़ी बहुत अवेयरनेस है, बट इट कुड हैव बीन बेटर। अभी तक ऐसा सच कुछ हुआ नहीं है।
तो अभी तक तो नहीं, बट हाँ मैंने जितना सुना है नोएडा, दिल्ली, इन सब में होता है। दिस प्लेस इज़ नॉट सेफ फॉर वुमेन्स।
एक मैसेज जो मैं सबको देना चाहूँगा वुड बी कि अगर आपको भले ही इफ़ यू फाइंड समवन दैट इज़ नॉट योर फ्रेंड, एटलीस्ट टेक इट एज योर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी to help her out and to help her reach her home or PG, wherever she's staying. So this is something that I would like to share to everyone.
എല്ലാവരും എനിക്ക് ഒപ്പം നിന്നിരുന്നു. എന്നേക്കാൾ കൂടുതൽ ശക്തിയോടുകൂടി എനിക്ക് മുന്നേ നിന്ന് എന്നെ എല്ലാ രീതിയിലും നയിച്ചിരുന്നു. 5 രൂപയുടെ മെമ്പർഷിപ്പുള്ള ഒരു പ്രവർത്തകൻ പോലും എന്നോടൊപ്പം എന്നേക്കാൾ കൂടുതൽ പ്രവർത്തിച്ചിരുന്നു എന്നുള്ളതിന് നന്ദി.
To be in this report. Anyway, I want to go across first to Ranjana Kumari. Ranjana Kumari, we played out the voices of the young girls, and of course it's some of them are optimistic that things have improved, but there is still a sense of fear, a sense of insecurity. The story that's playing out today is a familiar narrative. The tragedy is this is the national capital we are talking about. This is Delhi Metro we are talking about. This is a place that we hope to have foolproof security for women, but that is not to be. Do you believe that this incident once again exposes how basic dignity is denied to women in this country?
Well, I think I agree with you that, this is certainly situation has improved as girls are talking about, cameras are there. But where is the monitoring? If you install the camera and you don't monitor them, then all these criminals get emboldened that nobody's going to catch them. And that is why the man followed her, and and also just look at the thing that she's saying, that I was not taken seriously. I think it's time that any crime committed against women should be taken seriously. I mean, how many more years it will take for the authorities, for police, for railways, for metro officials to take such complaints seriously? If they have posted there are people there to protect women, they should take them to task. What is happening? Why nobody responded to her? How come that somebody has gone to that extent and then also not getting arrested? And also, if somebody is around and doing this on a regular basis, then how is it happening? So I think it's important, 3 things which should be put in place. One, of course, monitor it, see that all your equipments, all your people, how are they responding to women? And secondly, you heard one of the young girls saying that because we know our rights now, women have become stronger. That's why things are not happening. It's not because they're getting a good response. So if that combination happens, that women and girls become stronger and the police starts behaving and also the authorities start responding quickly, then I'm sure things will change. This is totally unacceptable what is happening in today's age and day. We are in 2022. February, we're talking, sorry, in 2022 June, and look at what we're talking about. We're talking about some girl being, harassed in the metro.
Yes.
How is that acceptable?
Yes, and glad that women have started speaking up, and that gives us, the opportunity to take up these issues. These conversations must happen. It cannot be brushed under the carpet as one random incident, because this is about safety of women. This is about public transport, the very basic things that the elected governments are supposed to guarantee its citizens. Shamina Shafiq, it's become a pattern also in terms of, the DCW's response or the NCW's response. But where does it go from here, ma'am? Is there anything concrete that comes out of it? These notices that are served to the authorities, what happens after that?
First of all, it's really unfortunate that what has happened. And the most unfortunate part is that it has repeated, or rather it has been repeating since the unfortunate event happened in 2012, the Nirbhaya Kand, because that was also in a public transport. We should not forget. Now, when you're talking about responses of the commission, I mean, see, first of all, how the commission takes is a big question. If you take it as a knee-jerk reaction and you say, okay, one thing has popped up because this girl actually had the guts to come to the Twitter and talk about it, and that is why perhaps all the authorities have rushed in and trying to fix it up. But how many girls actually have access to Twitter or have the guts to go on social media and talk about it? So that means the commissions are there to ensure that when the crime is not even happening, you have to ensure that the mechanisms are in place and they are working. So you have to do the auditing. You have to actually talk to the authorities. You have to see that the things are in prim and proper and in place. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen. In this case, if you see that the girl, first she goes to one personnel who was there at the metro station, and he says, no, you go upstairs, there's nothing, no, nothing has happened. She goes to the first floor, and apparently she complains there, and then he also says, okay, I'll take you to the camera. So the kind of responses that the girl is getting, or for that matter, generally girls get, lead to one such incident, and the other incident that you've seen today in Hyderabad, what has popped up, a rape, a gang rape again in a moving car.
Yes.
So all these things are happening. Why? Because initially when these things are happening, people are not taking in the mechanisms which are in place to ensure.
That's the problem, isn't it? The first responders are failing to give the kind of support that they are supposed to. In this case, let me tell our panelists and the viewers as well that she apparently was blamed for creating a scene. So there was no help coming forthwith. There is victim blaming. Nirmal Kaur, how can crimes of this nature be dealt with? Clearly, law enforcement has failed miserably to ensure foolproof security in a public place like a metro station.
See, this kind of incidents that we see of sexual molestation or, harassment of women in public spaces or in public transport, what we get to hear is only tip of the iceberg. Actually, it's much more widespread, very endemic a malady, which we, as a society, we don't take cognizance of, and we fail to provide mobility, safe mobility to our women. So naturally, they cannot participate fully in the activities of the day-to-day living, be it social, economic, whatever, political. And the another thing is, which I seriously think we all think, it is somehow we abdicate our responsibility. Like inherent in all this is that you see a person in uniform, it is entirely his responsibility. Everybody has to take cognizance of it. I'm not saying that police doesn't have to do. Police has to do. There was apparently a man in uniform there, but and she was booking a cab on a very isolated kind of platform. It is not victim blaming. But what I'm saying is that we have to sensitize the police and at the same time sensitize our girls also.
So I'm sorry, ma'am, when you say isolated platform, what are you exactly trying to? I'm just trying to understand your views. Women these days work all kinds of odd hours. It cannot be a case
they have to claim
that you cannot go to a metro station in an odd hour. That would be really tragic, especially for the national capital.
Lots of things have been done to ensure their safety, but much more important is sensitization of the public, of the police forces. Like, this gentleman, she met the uniformed service guy who said, oh, it's not my job, go to the other platform. That is not done. He should have taken it up very seriously if he was a sensitized man. Why
is the system still not in place, ma'am? That's the issue. And it's not just about Delhi. Everywhere this is happening. Let's run those data that we have on the number of incidents that have happened in this country. We've pulled out the number of incidents from the year 2000. I'll request my producer to play out that just to give our viewers an idea how rampant this is. Ranjana Kumari, it's not just Delhi, but I want you to explain to our viewers, since you work in this area, that this has a larger fallout. You know, women all the more will be asked to stay indoors. Delhi is not safe. Tomorrow, if, one of our, when children want to go and study in the national capital, they will be told, Waha khatra hai, it's not safe for women. So isn't this pushing us back, Ranjana Kumari?
The time we should start, flipping this argument about women should not go to unsafe places. Why should you have unsafe places anywhere? In UP, I just heard that women should not go to workplaces after 7 o'clock in the evening, and they must not come out of the houses before 6 o'clock in the morning. What is this? I mean, what kind of a restriction you want to put on women instead of putting restrictions on women's mobility, her choice of work, her kind of work she wants to do, places she wants to visit? Instead of doing all that, if you want to really create conditions where women feel safe, then you have to change that whole culture of, harassing women and blaming women. After they get harassed, the worst part is that you start blaming her for creating a scene or for, being so whatever dressed up, and everything else of women you start blaming. Till we will end this culture, this is not going to change. So don't stop women from control her movement and mobility. Change the environment, change the people who are creating trouble, change those people's mindset, change those places, make them more safe, make them more, have more vigilance there, have more people, who are responsible, catch them. Anybody who was responsible at the metro station at that time, has any action been taken against that person? If not, then why will the next person care when the next time a woman walks up to
that
him?
is the issue. That absolutely
lacking.
is the issue. When you give this impression that one can get away. Shamina Shafiq, do you agree that the message that goes around probably is that one can get away with this? Women don't often report it, and hats off to this girl who has managed to do so. And the predators who are at, looming large, they probably think they can get away with this. Is that something that needs to be addressed?
Definitely. I mean, this is the issue which needs to be addressed, because predators definitely are more confident, for that matter, as far as committing crime upon women is concerned, because they know they can get away with anything. Now, DMRC is saying that, okay, we'll check the cameras. There is a button where you can press and call for some help. But there was already a help there at the station where the girl approached, not just once, but twice. Who actually worked on that? Now, nobody. And has any action been taken? Like Ranjana Kumari ji has said, no action is going to be taken. And also, as I was saying, that these mechanisms, be it police, be it the commissions, they are there to ensure that there is no crime against women, zero tolerance, not to act after the crime is committed. We should understand and realize it. I think that is very, very important, very crucial.
Nirmal Kaur, quick last word to you. If you were to give one suggestion how we can weed out these predators who are on the prowl, who make public spaces unsafe, what would it be? How can we ensure safety for women in public transport?
We have to have a multi-pronged approach, First is that you sensitize the uniformed services, you sensitize women, you sensitize all of us around, and everybody has to be standing up against the crime. Right now what is happening is that we are not realizing what damage it is doing to the society. We are still in that old mode. So I think the one thing, if I had to say, I would say that every citizen should behave as if he's a policeman, and every policeman should behave as if he's a citizen. So that, we don't abdicate our responsibility. We are all there to look after our own women and men in our surroundings, and we behave as if, that maintaining law and order is all of our joint responsibility.
Yes, and as citizens, I'll add to it that we need to demand accountability. As journalists, we are doing it, but as citizens, it is the responsibility of elected governments to give us basic safety and security in public places. There are no two ways about it. Ranjana Kumari, Nirmal Kaur and Shamina Shafiq, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, let's take a short break here. News and updates continue on the other side. Coming